You buy it for $5 at a convenience store, and the moment a strong gust of wind hits, it flips inside out and ends up in the gutter. 3,000 years ago, that same act of opening a canopy was a crime. For a commoner, it carried a death sentence. In the scorching deserts of the ancient Near East, the sun was a constant physical hazard. Controlling who received its shade was the ultimate display of wealth and authority. The ancient Egyptians believed the sky itself was the goddess Nut. They visualized her arching her star-spangled body over the earth to physically shield it from cosmic chaos. These early sunshades served as portable, physical replicas of the sacred sky, providing a divine shelter long before they were ever used to deflect a raindrop. Because that canopy represented the heavens, Egyptian pharaohs kept it strictly to themselves. They used it to artificially expand their own personal shadow, a concept they called the kabit, which they believed contained their generative power. That exclusivity was codified firmly into law in the Middle Assyrian Empire. Attempting to replicate the monarch's canopy was treated as an act of high treason. Anyone caught illegally manufacturing or standing beneath their own shade faced brutal physical consequences, ranging from the cropping of ears and nose to public impalement. For the first few millennia of human civilization, the umbrella existed specifically to draw a literal, deadly line between gods and mortals. Over in ancient China, the umbrella remained a strict marker of class. The imperial court legally enforced a color hierarchy, reserving yellow silk exclusively for the emperor and high-ranking officials. But Chinese artisans faced an engineering problem. To make this royal architecture practical for travel on chariots, they needed a way to shrink it down on demand. This schematic details their solution, a mechanical folding frame. Flexible bamboo ribs hinge and slide along a central wooden shaft to expand and lock. Next, a chemical breakthrough. Brushing the paper canopy with tung oil created a highly durable, waterproof barrier. These oil paper umbrellas were complex marvels that required over 80 distinct, precise, handcrafted steps to manufacture. China successfully took a static throne and engineered it into a portable, mechanical weather tool, even as its use remained strictly regulated by social class. Meanwhile, in early modern Europe, the secular use of the umbrella had almost entirely vanished. The Roman Catholic Church kept the tradition alive by carrying a striped ceremonial canopy, the umbraculum, over the Pope during public processions. It wasn't until the 17th and 18th centuries that the canopy re-emerged in the wider European public, this time as the highly decorated parasol. It was adopted exclusively by wealthy women to protect their pale skin from the sun, cementing the device as a rigid marker of femininity and high society. For a man, carrying an umbrella carried a severe social stigma. It invited immediate public mockery, signaling to the upper classes that he was effeminate, or worse, too poor to afford a private carriage. In Europe, the umbrella traded the legal threat of royal treason for the social pressure of gender etiquette, becoming an accessory defined by a woman's wardrobe and social status. That taboo held strong until the 1750s, when a wealthy English traveler named Jonas Hanway decided he was simply tired of getting soaked by the London rain. Hanway began walking the streets carrying a heavy, oiled canvas rain umbrella. The public reacted with outrage, yelling insults and shaming him wherever he went. But the heaviest resistance came from effeminate coachmen. They realized this portable rain shield threatened their monopoly on dry transportation, leading them to violently attack Hanway and hurl trash at him. Hanway refused to back down. He stubbornly carried his heavy umbrella through the streets of London for 30 years, slowly forcing English society to accept it. Hanway's persistent use of the device challenged the existing transport monopolies and gender norms, demonstrating that the practical need to stay dry could eventually outweigh social ridicule. Hanway's stubbornness sparked massive commercial demand. By the mid-19th century, manufacturers developed the U-shaped steel rib, allowing umbrellas to be mass-produced cheaply and reliably. The Industrial Revolution flooded city streets with these practical black rain umbrellas, erasing the final traces of their royal exclusivity. The umbrella eventually became a standard piece of the urban uniform, an unremarkable tool that had finally shed its ancient associations with divine authority. So the next time you pop open a cheap umbrella in a storm, take a second to look up. You are holding a piece of ancient royalty, a Chinese engineering marvel, and a tool of social rebellion. To uncover the hidden histories behind the rest of the objects in your hallway closet, subscribe to Roots of Routine.
Subscribe to us for more such videos.